Hey, beautiful soul family, how you doing? Welcome if you are new to the channel, and welcome back if you love me, because I love you too. And we're going to spin the wheel. We're going to see what sign it is today. Spirit, please. Scorpio. All right, Scorp. I mean, it's about time you've been coming out in the dice. All right, Scorpio. What other placements? Hey, Mystic Bond, how are ya? Let's see what other placements may be significant for you. Or if you're cross-watching, could also be, current transits. We've got Scorpio. What reading is this? It's Scorpios, bitch. Scorpio. We also have Uranus, Aquarian energy that's naturally squared to Scorpio. And we've got the second house, Taurian energy, which is also square Scorpio. Or I'll pose Scorpio. It challenges Scorpio. Let's get your Vajra energy up there. Okay. So, Scorpio. I'm going to get into your cosmic currency in a second. I'm going to do a snapshot for you. What the hell is going on in your sign? Scorpio rules the 8th house. And Pluto or Mars, right, as ruling planet. So you could have Pluto and or Mars in Scorpio. We also have Aquarian energy with Uranus. It's also the 11th house. So you could have Scorpio ruling your 11th house, right? Maybe be a Capricorn rising. And then we have the second house, which is Taurus. It's Venusian energy. So you might also have Venus in Scorpio. Okay, depending on how these different dice land for you, right, between planets and houses and signs and stuff. The dice in and of themselves, Uranus is flash energy, right? Uranus is flash energy. Hey, Bobby Lynn, how you doing? Hey, Rita. So if you think about it, right, yesterday I was doing Sag's reading, and I was talking about the Venus and Mars trine that could be trining on your natal Sag placements. Well, they were at 16 and 17 degrees in Aries and Leo. I have Uranus at 17 degrees Sag. So those things trined off beautifully yesterday, and I just so happened to meet that guy, Michael, right, while I was driving in a Uber. And had that wild conversation, right? In like a flash. And it was like all of this crazy creative energy just swirled around for an hour between him and I having these conversations, right? As we were driving to Indy. So Uranus is a flash. When Uranus shows up in the 10th house, like it's flash when it comes to career. Someone could be in and out of your life within a matter of weeks. It's not anybody that's going to stick around long term. Uranus is a flash. If you have it in Scorpio in the second house, Scorpio rules the 8th house, which is technically inheritance. So when you put it in the second house of mine, right, my fill in the blank, which is Taurian energy, the house of possessions, there could be a flash shift, a flash transformation, right? In the realm of finances and or possessions, anything you put the word my in front of, right? My bank account, my car, my house, my pants, my wife, my boyfriend, my children, right? My fill in the blank is Taurus. Scorpio transcends. So you could either have a radical increase, a flash increase, or flash something of benefit, depending on your alignment, or you could have a flash loss. Now, if we look at the current transits, right, the cosmic currency, let me pull it up here, and let me get Scorpio on the rise. So this will be pretty on point if you're a Scorpio rising. Okay. So Scorpio, as of right now, you have Lilith retrograding and Juno retrograding conjunct in your sign. They're quintile Pluto. Now, the way I have quintiles on here, you guys can see the chart of the moment. This is what it is. Quintiles, it's too light for the camera to pick it up, but it's from here to here. And my setting is that it is within 15 seconds of accuracy, right? There's degrees, there's minutes, and then there's seconds. I have it to where it's within so many seconds, right? Exact. So quintiles are a really interesting vibration. There is a spiritual mysticism that surrounds quintiles. Pluto with Lilith and Juno in this quintile from Aquarius and Scorpio, this fixed sign energy, right? I'm kind of pulling it like hidden spiritual downloads, rebelling, right? Lilith rebelling against deep wounds, especially in regards to feeling limited in your role, whatever your role is, whether it's a family role or a career role or a friendship role or whatever, right? There's some kind of higher information or higher transmission of, I want to say it's like revelation, right? Like lightning striking the brain with the Aquarian energy. But it's almost like the way I'm getting it, you know how like those plasma balls, if you touch it, all the energy goes to wherever it is that your hand is like touching the plasma ball or whatever. It's like when you tune into it, and you touch the higher awareness, it all starts funneling in, you know, and feeding to your energy. And it might just be prompting you to rebel against some kind of relationship role that you feel bound or indebted to. Whether you're aware of it from this life or if it's from a past life and you don't know why you feel indebted to such a person or a situation. You also have a square going on to Pallas and Aquarius. So Pallas, Athena, is at 24 degrees Aqua, and it's in square to that Lilith and Juno energy. So your defense system, right? Your defense system might be working against you in a sense. It could make you hesitant. It could make you want to detach. It could make you feel guilty for rebelling against your role. That might even double down and double over with Mars and Leo, because Mars and Leo is squaring your sign at 17 degrees Leo. And you almost have to be careful if you should cut something off that you don't necessarily blow it up. There might have to be some finessing to integrate true leadership and reminding yourself of the gratitude for the experience and not necessarily treating someone or treating a situation as if they've always been shitty just because it's been more recent and it's getting to you. Like if you have 7 years of history with somebody and for the last year they've really rode you up a fucking wall and you can't stand the sight of their face anymore, don't treat them as if they've given you 7 bad years. address the fact that you had 6 really good years and it's fallen off the last year. And respectfully, this is how you want to move forward with the situation. You know, allowing yourself to detach and strategize a little bit, but not necessarily losing sight of the higher vibration, which could be easy, right? It could be easy to lose the higher vibration, seeing things that way with Pallas square to your sign. And then you have, of course, Mercury and Uranus in opposition at 27 degrees. So again, all late degrees, bar Mars at 17. It's not really late, still in the middle. But having Uranus and Mars opposite your sign, right? Uranus on the dice, Taurus on the dice, opposing your sign. Mercury could definitely be money. I mean, it could definitely be money. It might not necessarily be love related, unless it's coming from, your house of partnerships, in which case your partner may lose some kind of income or some kind of money or take some kind of huge hit or come into some big money and come into like a big, you know, flash shift in their financial reality. Something that your partner would consider theirs, right? That they would put the word my in front of it. Because if you're a Scorpio rising, Taurus rules your 7th house of partnerships. And, or it's things you feel married to, right? Things you feel married to and could not, quote unquote, live without. I knew a person. They were a Scorpio rising. They were Pisces, but they were a Scorpio rising. And they had Jupiter conjunct the moon in the 7th house. Jupiter, which blows things up, and the moon, which is emotional attachment to things, blown up in the 7th house. And they were a hoarder. They were married to their stuff. Their stuff took over. They could not live without their stuff, right? It was that kind of vibe. And they had different challenges to that energy too. So, you know, it's not like it's a one size fits all type interpretation. They had different challenges that were going on inside their chart and their placements. But it's like, it's that energy where you're partnered to the stuff that is my. And that might need to radically shift. Like, as someone who has a lot of Scorpio placements in their chart, even today, like this morning, I was thinking about looking at all of my clothes, because I already have one bag filled with stuff that I want to take to the Goodwill, like clothing donation box or whatever. But I was looking at my closet, I was looking at the amount of laundry I have, and I'm like, you know what? I really only wear maybe 25% of my clothes, 30 maybe at most. I was like, so what the fuck do I have all this shit for? Why? So I can wear something once every 2 or 3 years? If I wear it at all? I was like, I'm going to go through all my shit and donate it. Stuff I used to love, right? Scorpio is my 5th house. Give it away to fucking whoever. Just give it away. It's my Taurus it's my Taurus in the 11th house. You know, community and connection. You know, so how it plays out for you is going to be a little different depending on where everything falls in your chart, but I think your biggest challenges are exactly that. The things benefiting you. We do have Saturn at the end of Pisces with the North Node. So that being in trine does help, as there is a divine order to things. And maybe that's the most important part to remember. Like, Saturn doesn't do things for no reason. And it's always a good reason, even if we don't necessarily like the way it feels, right? The reason is valid. And this reason is North Node, or destiny's direction. So, hey, Kristen, how you doing? And so I feel like even if you are unclear, right, Piscean energy, on how things are working out in your favor as things either come in or leave in a flash, it is for the highest good. And I think that will really start to reveal itself once Jupiter does enter Cancer and starts trining on your sign. So I hope that helps give you some clarity on maybe what is going on, Scorp. Right now, the moon entered Taurus today. It's at 1 degree Taurus. So happy lunar return to everybody who's got a Taurus moon. It'll be the moon in Taurus for the next couple days. Every moon lasts about 2.5 days in each sign before it transits out. Okay. Let's get into this message. We're going to start with the harrow. Of course. What is going on, Spirit? Okay. Oh. So it's one of those card combos where you're like, bless your heart. Bless your heart. Oh man. The beating. And the Wanderer. The Wanderer came out yesterday for Sagittarius reading, so you might want to take a look at it. Especially if you have natal Sag placements, because there's nothing going on in Sag right now. So that prompt would be specifically for if you have natal Sag placements. We got the marriage on the bottom. Okay. I know. And the Teamster's back. That was also in Sag's reading in the same position. Wanderer was out yesterday in the same position. Teamster's out. Same position. Top of the deck. And the Carnival is under the marriage, which is Carnival's been coming out all week. Okay. Let's also get my hand-drawn cards. Clarify the archetypal energy, please, of the Paladin with the Idiot. That's the card combo that I was like, wow, bless your soul. It's the Paladin with the Idiot. Oh my God. Open door, and you are stuck here. The Crossroad. Clarify the beating, please. Clarify the beating, please. The Mirror and the Sun. And clarify the Wanderer, please. Clarify the Wanderer, please. Okay. We got the Match, the Cauldron, and this version of the Sun. There's two suns in this deck, and one is eclipsed. And I'm being drawn to the fact that the eclipse kind of mirrors that Match energy, right? Like the head of the Match. What is it that ignites on a match head? Is it sulfur? What is that? If any of you know, let me know in the chat. Oh, don't apologize for me to missing anything. It's called Divine Time. I know, the Carnival, right? It's been all fucking week. All fucking week. I feel. It's interesting. We've got the Angel on the bottom of the deck and the Pedestal on top. The Pedestal and the Angel. What is going on? Paladin. Come here, book. There we go. Paladin and the Idiot. The Paladin is lawful good. Okay. Symbolizes standing strong in the face of adversity. The paladin does not back down under any circumstances. This card usually indicates the need to stay the course or do what one knows is right, even if it takes a heavy toll. The Idiot is neutral evil. And it's a card of grave foolishness and greed. It can mean bribery, blackmail, or naivete, so grand it can see no evil. The goblins have captured the foolhardy man, representing the knowledge that loss of dignity can precede loss of life. So someone has an open door and yet they're stuck. Like someone can leave and yet they're stuck because they've committed to it, like the paladin. They've committed to it like the paladin, right? Lawful good, contracted good. It's the paladin. No matter what, right? It doesn't back down under any circumstances. It stays the course, even if it takes a heavy toll. And yet he's an idiot, right? I say he, but it's energy. Take it as it resonates. Grave foolishness. Naivete so grand it can't see the evil right in front of it. And the goblins have captured this individual, knowing that the loss of dignity they put on this person will precede the loss of life, right? That they will be either quite literally not here anymore, right? That it would precede that, or they would go through such an incredible transformation they are not themselves anymore, right? Whoever they were is no more. That's not who they were. You know, and I used to say that about my father. Like, he might not have been a perfect person. He had his problems, but at least he was himself. By the time I had cut my parents off, I did not recognize my father anymore. There was nothing left. He was a shell of a person that I used to recognize, that my mother completely destroyed. And she did tear him down one shred of dignity at a time over the course of years, but there was nothing left of my father. Nothing. And I feel like that's what's going on with this person. They have a way out. They can leave. They can resolve the situation. But they're stuck and they're choosing not to. And it probably has a lot to do with this, right? They're being driven by somebody, the Teamster energy. If we get into the Teamster as a refresher from yesterday, the Teamster is neutral. It's a driving external force that keeps the subject going no matter what, right? No matter what. This force can be physical or mental, as the person who exhorts others to continue on when they have no more strength to give. The force can be for good or ill, but cannot be ignored. The half-orc depicted is leading a life of constant toil, but it's for his own betterment. So there is somebody, and orcs, right? They're not typically good aligned as a Dungeons and Dragons race, right? They're typically not good aligned. I'm sure they can be, right? But for the most part, orcs are evil. So this is someone who is probably not in the best energy, right? Low aligned energy or evil energy, under the assumption or premise or belief that they are doing something really good and meaningful, right? The paladin is doing something really good and meaningful, but they're literally just there getting a fucking beating, right? They're literally there just getting a fucking beating. We got the beating card out here with the mirror and the sun. Be careful what you wish for. they're in the mirror of who they are in the light. And they're reflecting on someone who was also in their mirror when the roles were flipped, right? Because the mirror always talks about role reversal. What you go through and put someone else through, if you don't understand what you caused them, the universe will return it in kind to you. It'll flip the roles, right? Someone, whoever this paladin is taking a beating. And the thing is, they are in it with good intention. If this was a quote, like a perfect example would be a narcissist getting thrown into the empath position. If you were an empath that dealt with a narcissist, right? Someone with extreme personality disorders, and you got out, right? And you took the open door. Maybe you were stuck. Maybe you stuck around for the longest time thinking you were doing something good and were just literally being treated like a fucking fool, losing your dignity along the way to the point where it was diminishing who you were, that you didn't recognize yourself anymore, or knew you wouldn't recognize yourself if you continued forward. You know, just taking the pressure and the beatings of whoever you were dealing with. If you got out and took the open door instead of being stuck, someone else is in the same position. Now the narcissist that you were dealing with is in the empath role. They've dug their heels in order to quote unquote save or do some righteous act to help heal another narcissist, probably one who's worse than them, because it does always magnify 3 times over at the least. At the least. Like, I've talked about my two most long-term exes, right? There was my counterpart who I was with on and off for about 5 years. And then before him, there was Javi. And Javi, he was the one for me that got away in hindsight. I didn't realize it at the time because I was in the narcissistic role. I didn't even realize it. You know what I mean? It was never my intention to be that. But in hindsight, I was definitely exuding narcissistic qualities, reflecting the trauma that I hadn't healed. And so after I had left Javi, and I left because there was a part of me that knew I needed to find myself, because I didn't understand why I could have a seemingly perfect man and cry myself to sleep every night. I was like, I don't know why I'm not happy, and I got to figure it out. That's how I went on my whole journey, right? That's how I ended up on this whole journey. I didn't realize how I could quote unquote have everything and still be so severely depressed, right? I had a man who loves me. He bought me a car. He wrote my name in the concrete of his brand new driveway in his brand new house. Like, he gave me room to be just about everything I wanted, and gave me all the means to feel safe in the world. And I did not understand, you know, and I was mad at myself, and it was coming out at him. So he got this very narcissistic version of me. And I went on this mission to find myself. And in the process, I found my counterpart, who I thought was my counterpart. And the roles flipped, right? The mirror was there. The roles flipped. I ended up in three times harder empath, right? Empath role, and was being stripped down to nothing over the course of 4 or 5 years, right? The narcissists, my counterpart's narcissism, his attempt to diminish me. I took the open door and got out. Like, I don't deserve this. I don't want this, right? I had to get out of my own way. And I feel like whatever this is for you, or the person you're cross-watching for, or if there's someone very in particular coming up, like someone is waking up to the mirror. Someone is waking up to the mirror if they haven't already. And to be fair, they might just put the angel on a pedestal. They might just put the angel on the pedestal. I'm being nosy now. course I had to take that bottom off. Now I saw what's underneath. The nightingale, the needle and thread, the getaway, the cross, and the dawn and the dark night. The birth, the forge, the star. I would advise do not go back. I would advise do not go back. It would be what is essentially the dawn of another dark night. That's what it looks like. The angel needs to get put on the pedestal, and you might have to be the one to put yourself there. Let me read to you what the actual beating card is. The beating is neutral evil. It signifies coming under attack from all sides, but it can also indicate the dissolution of the self mentally. Whether the strength is of the flesh or the mind, it dissolves under the relentless attacks. Someone is aware of this. Someone is aware of this. The paladin, who is the fool, right? They're an idiot. They don't realize the literal evil right in front of them, right? They feel like they're doing such a fucking good thing that they can't see how fucking evil the people are around them. How much they're breaking down, right? I think at the very least, they are aware that their mental faculties are failing them, right? The stress, the anxiety, the overwhelming thoughts. They might be dipping into certain thought processes they haven't touched for a while, if ever. They don't have it in them. And they might have a hard time remembering who they are in their power and their strength, right? Because they've been getting whittled down and whipped for however long. Especially if they're married, right? With that marriage card on the bottom. And I say marriage, but it could be just a high commitment, right? A high commitment that's recognized in society, like having children together. Even if you're not married, you have a really high commitment to one another, right? Same thing. The Wanderer, the last card out here, is neutral good. The Wanderer is a collector. This centaur appreciates that which others regard as junk or trash. The Wanderer appears to those clever enough to find the true worth in something others ignore or treat as worthless. This card coming out with the match, the cauldron and the eclipse. Someone could have done some spell work. And it was to light a match in the darkness, right? That's the intention. The cauldron is about intentions, quote unquote spells, right? And not necessarily magic, but if you say, I'm an idiot every single day, you're going to believe it. You're casting a spell over yourself, right? You're cursing yourself to be fucking stupid with your belief that you're stupid. It's a spell. Words are spelling. I think someone legit cast an intention, though. They lit the match and started the brew. Even if it meant them getting eclipsed out. Even if it meant them getting eclipsed out. Whatever this wish was, it was selfless. It does not include them. The wish was selfless, like how the light is here and it's shining for this person. This person did whatever they did without consideration of who they were. The ego is blocked by the moon, right? The ego of the sun is blocked by the moon, and the emotion of the moon is the divine feminine. We were talking about total solar eclipses the last 2 days because they keep coming out on the fucking cards, right? In different decks. Eclipses, solar eclipses specifically keep coming out. This person chose something despite themselves. They saw the treasure in someone when they believed that they themselves were trash. They saw the value in someone and set the intention for them to become it, the beautiful potential that they saw. It was a selfless wish. It was a selfless wish. Chimes might be a synchronicity. If you're hearing wind chimes, I'm also hearing Rosicrucian. I don't know why that's significant. You would know. Gold rose synchronicities. Someone's been through the gauntlet. Like, they've been through the gauntlet. Let's get some insight into how this plays out. You know what? I was pulled to this deck too. Let me pull an animal spirit card for all of this. It is sulfur. Okay, cool. Thank you for confirming that. That's what I thought, but I've never actually looked it up. So, yeah. Yeah. Right? So this makes sense, Rita, right? Empath in one connection, narcissist in another. This is the mirror of things. Give me an animal spirit energy for the paladin and the idiot with the open door and the crossroads. The lamb. They really are innocent in this one. Even if they were a narcissist before in other dynamics, or even with you, where they're at now, they're the lamb now. Like, they're actually innocent and they're being essentially slaughtered, right? They're being slaughtered for this. The nightingale. The nightingale, right? The nightingale was underneath the angel on my hand-drawn cards. The nightingale just came out on the beating. It's darkest before the dawn. So this person might just be about to wake up. They might be on the verge of waking up. To at the very least, the mirror of it. And then the wanderer got the swan with the tiger. Talk about some power energy there. And the swan is mirrored, right? Mirror lake, it's mirrored in the card. We got that Lilith energy on the third eye of the tiger, right? Rebellious, fiery, divine, feminine energy. The eclipse, right? Black moon. Black moon. The moon is black when it's a total eclipse. Like, that's, wow. They may have been born during a new moon. The new moon on Monday might be extremely significant. The new moon in Gemini. They could have been born during a total solar eclipse. But this person, their moon energy might be more dominant in their chart than their sun energy. But there's a definite tell to this one. This person might even be Lilith dominant, where it's in a position in their chart of extreme influence, right? Because even though Lilith is a minor luminary, you can be dominant depending on what aspects that luminary is taking and where it is. Like, you put Lilith next to Jupiter or another major planet, pop it on the midhaven, and it's getting trines and everything from different places. You are Lilith ruled. You are Lilith ruled. So, you know, it's maybe really strong divine feminine energy. powerhouse feminine, right? Powerhouse feminine. Bottom of the deck is the crow. Mirrors that one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? The crows like shiny things. And we got the golden egg. And it's interesting because look at the circle on the top of the card for the golden egg. All the other circles on the deck, they're not black. Not different from the background. They're white. This one's white at the top. This one's white at the top. That one's black all around. It's not different. There's only so many. That one's black all around. It's not different. This one, this is white, right? It's white. That one distinctively has the black separate from the nest so that it looks different. It's like a fucking eclipse. Crow wants the shiny thing. The shiny thing. We're going to find out what the shiny thing is. We're going to find out what the shiny thing is. It's really sea serpents underneath the crow. That's Ouroboros energy. The owl is under that with the dragon. Someone might be watching you in secret. Especially because the sea serpent looks like an eyeball, right? There could be someone watching you in secret, especially because the night is like, the owl is a nighttime energy and the dragon is just a full-blown eyeball. The lion was under that. So they could have strong Leo energy as well, which would also square your sign. We've got a lot of different energy out here for fixed energy. Crows are highly intelligent. And so whoever is watching you or observing you in secret, they're not dumb. Which might make them feel even dumber when they come to the light and realize that they've been getting played so hard. I'm going to pull. I have a feeling I'm going to pull quite a few decks. We're going to start with the Mirror of the Soul Tarot. Insight into the first energy, please. The Lamb with the Idiot. And the Paladin. What is going on with the Lamb? What is going on with the Lamb? What is going on, Spirit, please? For Scorpio and those who resonate with the reading, especially if they're fixed signs. Got the High Priestess out in reverse. Piscean energy. Their intuition's offline. Their intuition's offline. King of Pentacles. Five of Swords. The Knight of Cups is clarifying the High Priestess. So it's a slow death. Defeat. The Five of Swords is the defeat card with the Knight of Discs or the Knight of Pentacles. That's a slow death. This person won't even realize how badly they've lost until the loss is so clear they can't not see it. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Cups. Top is the Justice card. In this deck, it's the number 8 card. Could be dealing with a Libra or a Pisces or someone who has strong or significant placements in those two signs. I feel like this person, whoever the paladin is, they are quite literally holding up their world financially. This is breadwinner energy. They're holding it up, and it's heavy. They're holding it up, but it's heavy, and they're still holding it. And it is a slow death. The High Priestess with that Knight of Cups. Give me one more for that, please. Give me one more for that. Yeah, this is a sacred balancing that's going on. Queen of Swords, Knight of Wands, the Devil, and the Hermit. They could be dealing with someone who has a really strong or significant Capricorn or Virgo placement. They could also be Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. Their intuition's offline. And it's a Panther on the card, right? We had Panther synchronicities coming through yesterday. This feels like it's like they know how they feel. They can't necessarily tune into their intuition or their divine downloads. It might not be their strong suit. They might not have practiced it. They might not trust the downloads they're getting, even if the downloads are accurate, right? They don't have experience trusting themselves, but they do know what they want to say. They do want some kind of commitment. Possibly financial, because if they're coming out of a situation where they were taking on all the financial burden and being the breadwinner, right? All that strength, that heaviness that comes along with it, the pressure. They might want to lock in some kind of agreement or conditions so that they don't feel that way again. It would be like the narcissist, right? Who ends up being the empath in their next dynamic, trying to come back to their empath, ready to go back into the narcissistic role because they need the power up, right? They need the power up. They don't want to feel drained in the empath energy. They poured it to the wrong person. Like, that's the problem. It's not that it has to be fair or whatever. It's okay if one person is the breadwinner, but it does have to have some kind of equal and balanced other side. Something about this screams skewed mentality, because Virgo, the Hermit, is mindset. It does come out with the owl, and the owl is holding a thread attached to a key. And even in my hand-drawn cards, the owl is holding the red thread. Or not my hand-drawn cards, the Harrow cards. I have a red thread card in my hand-drawn cards, but the Harrow cards have an owl holding a red thread. I'll show you. Right? One, the thread is attached to a needle, and one is attached to a key, and key is Chiron. That's the thing. This person, whoever they are, they haven't healed their Chiron wound yet. They might be seeking out your wisdom to help them heal it, whether they realize it or not. Right? The divine might even have them knowing what needs to be communicated, or having them come forward because they're working on healing a Chiron wound. What's going on with the beating and the nightingale? With the mirror and the sun? Insight, please, Spirit. Got the Two of Coins. The Moon, Piscean energy. The Seven of Swords. And the Ten of Cups. Clarities, please. Clarify the Two of Coin. The Ten of Coin. Clarify the Moon. The Queen of Coin. So I got the King of Coin out here, and I got the Queen of Coin out here. Clarify the Seven of Swords with the Ten of Cups. They don't see what someone else is doing. If this reading is about the King of Pentacles, right, the Paladin and the Idiot, the Queen of Pentacles is poison. Oh, yeah, and they're leaking money bad. They're leaking money bad. Four of Cups on the bottom, Six of Cups on the top. So this person definitely missed an opportunity with a soulmate, right, with a sacred soulmate. They did miss that Six of Cups energy. They were cold, right? They were cold. This creature on the Four of Cups is like a robot. He's like a robot. He's cold. There's nothing there that screams human. Might look human-ish, but they missed an opportunity because they couldn't fucking warm up. They couldn't find the human in themselves, right? To treat the empath like a decent person instead of abusing them, and vice versa. So now we have this Two of Coin with the Ten of Coin, which is 12, right? 12 coins. It's a pause number, or hanged man number, right? Anytime things add up to 12, we have this divine pause. There's a choice point right now between work and home with whatever is going on with this, and or the home may be up in the air, or the career, right? Depending on what that Ten of Pentacles is, could be up in the air. It could be hanging on by a thread, because the Ten of Pentacles in this deck is ruined. It's ruins. And the Dragon is there. The Dragon is on the Moon card with the Queen of Pentacles. And you can see she's got this real dark poison type color palette, right? These blacks and grays and greens. She's got makeup on her face. It looks kind of similar to like a jester or something like that. And obviously she's got real high sex appeal. Real high sex appeal. And then we've got this. The 7 of Swords with the 10 of Cups and the Page of Cups. And if you see that Page of Cups, now you understand why I'm telling you this person's leaking crazy money. Because the Page of Cups back here is literally, the pouch is open behind them and it's just money pouring out. The deception is happiness. Money's being drained. Money's being drained. Resource is being drained. This person's happiness is being drained with it. It's so deceptive. I'm getting this imagery of someone who knows what they're doing, right? It's like if someone were to say something or do something to start to tick someone else off, but in such a gentle way that maybe that person wouldn't have said anything right away, or they would have ignored it, but it set the tone. And now all this person has to do is like play dumb and get the other person frustrated because they're trying to fix it, right? They're trying to frustrate the paladin. Maybe the paladin slips and gets irritated, right? Maybe says something they shouldn't say or does something they shouldn't have done. Because now they're irritated over this little teeny pinprick of a discomfort that the second person started on them. And now because they've blown up or because they've acted out or because of whatever, the other person's playing innocent, right? Page of Cups. I'm sorry. I didn't know that I upset you. I didn't know blah, 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 blah. Like, don't be upset, baby. Don't be mad. Like, let's fix it. Why don't we go out? Why don't me and you do this? Why don't we go get that together? And it's Starbucks or go out shopping, or let's go treat this or that. And they're milking money out of it. It's like, they know what the fuck they did. They know this person feels bad when they blow up. So they started setting little triggers and then played dumb. Gaslit the shit out of them, right? Gaslit them, and the paladin bought it. All right, let's go fix it. I fucked up. Let me go fix it with a financial gift. Right? Let me go fix my problems with money. Let's go make it better. I'm sorry, you haven't gotten your hair done in like 2 months. Do you want to go get your hair done? I'll pay for it. And person's like, thank you. Thank you. It does look like the crow's eye, doesn't it, Rita? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the little black dot up here. It does look like the crow's eye. Yeah, that's interesting energy. They might be on the brink of ruin. Financial collapse, like they might be on the brink. If they're not paying attention. Like they're not prepared. What's going on with the Wanderer? What is going on with the Wanderer? Right? The Swan and Tiger energy with the match and the Sun. Hanged Man, Piscean energy. It's out across all three different quote unquote people or energies, right? All three energies. Pisces. And it's a big deal. Do not underestimate all of this Piscean energy that just cleared out. Saturn's on its way out, like Queen of Cups. Yeah, this was an empath. This was most definitely an empath, very psychic. The Empress, and the Page of Swords. Clarities, please. The Moon with the Hanged Man. Five of Swords on the Queen of Cups. Give me one more for the Page of Swords with the Empress. I told you so. I told you so. Okay. Whoever the third energy is, they warned this person. They warned this person. Yeah. They were getting the divine downloads. They knew. They knew they were a fucking fool. Oh my God. We got the 8 of Wands with the Fool on the bottom. They knew the Paladin was a fucking idiot and had to learn the hard way. Look at this Fool card. It's a clown. You know, this real strong looking dog, right? That Doberman pit bull kind of energy. Like they might come off like that, right? The Paladin might come off like strong, like a pit bull, you know, or strong and intelligent, like a Doberman. But they're a fucking idiot. And they're young inside. Like they could be a full grown adult, but they're like a child, like a teenager. Like they're stuck there. And they, whoever this person is, they told them. They knew. Like someone called it. Whoever this third person is, they called all of this. They knew it. And it might be because of what they wished for. They wished for this person's happiness, right? Or whatever it was, this selfless wish. They cast the intention. Or legit did some kind of magical spell work with the intention to set this person free of their wounds. They wanted this person to be happy. Like they wished nothing but the best for this person despite themselves. They wanted the best for this person. And probably knew how stuck they were. And when they couldn't help them, when they couldn't reach them, and the Paladin doubled down and was like, nah, I want to go deeper, I want to go darker, I want to suffer a whole lot more to learn what I got to learn. Wanderer stepped back and was like, okay, but I'm telling you, person number 2 called it. Or person number 2. I feel like that's a second person. I think the second energy is a situation. I'm being guided to this deck. Let's go. This is the Oracle of Visions by 𝐕𝐶𝐻𝐺𝐻𝐵. Give me one for the Paladin. What do we need for the Paladin? I'm told I got to get one for all 3 of these energies. I'm not combining any of them. Card 39. All right, so that one's there. Okay, that's the second one. Wow. And I just heard a car horn go off in the background. I know what thought I had. Okay. This is the bottom of the deck. Look how cool that image is. The cranes have collars, like the feminine, but the swan on her head does not. It has the red ribbon. High in the sky spies. Okay. So the first person. Offering comfort, healing, or caring. That's the energy, right? The quote, in the arms of the angel, fly away from here. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. Sarah McLachlan. For a broken wing or a broken spirit, the healing process begins with the bond of caring and comfort. Let a kind word or gentle touch offer assurance that you are there and the other is not alone. A pure white dove is held in a nurturing manner by a caring woman dressed in deep, vibrant red. The red of her clothing and headdress bring to mind the color of the first chakra. The chakra associated with self-preservation. This card is about caring. Whether you have a need to nurture your own soul with some quiet time or recreation, or there is someone who needs your help, this card shows that by doing everything you can to be well-grounded, you can be a nurturing spirit. Hold the object of your ministrations lightly in your hand, lest, like a frightened bird, they fly beyond your power to heal. This person has a broken spirit and is trying to heal the broken spirit in someone else. That's exactly their energy. This card is they're trying to show how much they care. They're trying to bring comfort to someone broken. And I'm sure if you were involved with this person before, you can understand that sentiment entirely, because that's exactly where you were. And the more you hold on to it, the tighter you try and hold it down to help it heal, the more it gets scared. The more you love it, the more you try caring for it, the more you try being stable, the more it wants to fly away. And that's where this person is. They're dealing with someone who, with all of the love they're giving, they might be holding on too tight. They might be trying too hard to help heal this person. And what's interesting, the second energy, right? The unicorn or the horse is breaking out of the snow globe. The horse is breaking out. Card number 34. Breaking free and chasing a dream. A horse is the projection of people's dreams about themselves. Strong, powerful, beautiful. And it has the capability of giving us escape from our mundane existence. Pam Brown. That's the quote. It says, finally breaking free. A real horse embodying a true inner spirit escapes from the carnival shell. Right? It escapes from the carnival shell, which represented his existence up to this point. The constant repetition finally ends as he soars through his glass confinement. His escape and transformation is witnessed with awe and incredulity, but also with envy by those he leaves behind. This card represents the numbing routine of daily life, for example, the mindless repetition of the morning commute. What might be comforting familiarity to some can become claustrophobic, choking of our inner spirit. We occasionally escape through dreams of what might be, but at some point we may act upon them to the amazement of others. So this is both things that I'm feeling. I don't think it's really one or the other so much as it's both. Whoever is the dove, right, that the paladin is holding on too tightly, they're breaking free and breaking out because they don't like the feeling that they can't be helped or heal without someone else's undivided pressure. They're like, I could heal myself. I don't need you to push it on me, right? This person might be getting out of the everyday routine they have with this paladin. And the paladin's expectations of them, right, to heal with all of their efforts. And it's also the paladin breaking out because it's kind of put on them too. They have to break out of the confinement. The repetition of the everyday, right? The numbing routine. The mindless repetition. Dreams and dreaming about it is not enough. Someone's escaping the carnival. And it might just be because there's some kind of hidden something, right? Hidden deception. Hidden deception. They could have a hidden love. They could be getting some kind of income from someone else, like, or someone's offering it, like, I'll take care of you. But whoever this other person is that the paladin's involved with is just taking them for all they can. Taking them for all they can while they still can. And it's someone lied to themselves. Like, I'm being drawn to the figure, the Pinocchio looking figure in the bottom corner. Right? The deception. Someone can't believe it. Like, the paladin might not be able to believe it if the person they're involved with decides they're going to bust out and break free, like, because they don't want to be saved. Not by the paladin. They don't want to be saved by the paladin. They want to save themselves. In card number 9, right, the Wanderer. Card number 9 is support and bearing the weights of others. You can see there's different, like, tarot cards in the background hanging on the wall. The Strength card is there. We got a tiger on them cards too. There's a tiger on there. There's also leopards and cheetahs and lions. This is cats, right? Big time cats. And we were talking about that yesterday as well, right? Even the number 9 is Sag's house. So, I mean, you might want to go back and watch Sag's reading if you have significant Sag placements in your chart. Because now there's tiger synchronicities twice on that person. And we were talking about that yesterday, leopards and cheetahs and panthers and stuff. Support and bearing the weight of others. The quote, it says, "'Tis not enough to help the feeble up, but to support them after." William Shakespeare, Timon of Athens. 'Tis not enough to help the feeble up, but to support them after. This card represents the offering of strength and assistance and bearing a burden on behalf of others. Providing support can take many forms: moral, emotional, physical, and financial. We can offer our shoulders to bear the weight or lend an ear to share grief. Here, a jester offers his shoulders on which the girl can perform. He raises her up, allowing her to be the focus of the audience's attention, his subdued posture deliberately taking second place. His identity is hidden. He provides an anonymous contribution. And in the background are 3 tarot strength cards, which serve as props and reaffirm the card's message. While the effort and gesture is a noble one, there are times when we should come out of the shadows and take credit for our contributions. You do not always have to settle for being second fiddle. Be careful not to allow others to take advantage of your generosity. It's as if this person stepped out of the way and held up the angel on the pedestal, which is the narcissist. The angel is the narcissist that is helping the paladin heal our former narcissist, right? They were previously a narcissist in their dynamic with you. They had some kind of serious personality fucking issue, right? Personality disorder. The wanderer didn't take any credit for the healing. They just left space for the second person to be put on the pedestal. Like they knew it. They knew it. They knew it. They knew this person, this paladin, was not going to heal. They knew it wasn't, they weren't going to heal with them. They weren't taking the good intention. So they said, okay, and stepped out of the way and held up the feminine to receive. That's a feminine in the circle on the card. Held up the feminine, which is receptive. Said, fine, I will not be a fool. I will not be a fool. But I will take risks. Right? This person did come out with the Fool card. This person is Uranus energy. There's a Uranus connection on them fucking dice. There's a Uranus connection between all of these people. There's something going on within it. Things might have been decided on a flash. But whoever the wanderer is, they're strong as fuck. 3 strength cards on that one card. Tigers out here. This person is intuitive as hell. They're on a different level. Like, you want to talk about like alphas and betas and fucking omegas and whatever. Like, this person is sigma as fuck. Completely underestimated as a spiritual, quote unquote, wizard. This person works with energy on such a profound level. The paladin didn't know. It was like the beast. Like, if you go back to Beauty and the Beast, right? The old hag offered the beast a rose, right? The prince a rose in exchange for a place to stay while the storm cleared out, right? Because it was a raging storm outside. This old hag offered the prince a rose and was pretty much laughed at like she was a fucking joke. And then she transformed herself and showed her true self. And she was this enchantress, right? This super fucking powerful enchantress capable of cursing the beast, and pretty much gave him a time limit. Like, you have so much time to heal this shit. But she knew the sorceress wasn't bad. She knew he'd break it. But it was a healing process, a very long and slow one, right? A slow death. Beast almost completely lost himself and forgot who he was, right? His humanness. But that's the power of this third person. This person doesn't just willy-nilly like put a name in a jar and shake it up and pop it in the freezer. Like, this is not that kind of magic. This is much higher than that. This is much higher than that. This is selfless intention. Not selfish, not revengeful, none of that. It's selfless. This person knows how to work with energy. They know how to step aside. They know when to step in. And if that is the empath that came out of the narcissist dynamic with the paladin, I think the paladin is in to surprise themselves. Especially because the divine feminine, the receiver of all of this energy from the paladin, is probably going to break away from them at some point. Because they're either going to find someone else and completely betray the paladin because they don't want it. They don't want the paladin's help. Or they will break the paladin down to fucking nothing if the paladin doesn't choose to leave. They will be a shell of a person by the end of it all. And who they were, that narcissistic version, just will never exist. It will never exist again. They're going through this whipping, this beating, right? This beating energy of a mirror. Because the sun is supposed to come up, right? They're supposed to rise to the sun. The nightingale's singing like it's almost time. This person knows. This person might not know exactly what the fuck is going on, but they have a feeling. If they are intuitive, they might not know intuitively what is actually going on, but they have enough sense to feel like something's about to go down. Something is about to go down. Let's pull one guidance card. Let's do our spiritual as fuck because we're an hour and 22 minutes in already. My God. And I want to go live. I want to spin the wheel again. See who else needs a read. What is the guidance, please, Spirit, for Scorpio and our fixed sign energy? Okay. Really, thou shalt, and we have thou this. You might want to go and maybe audio listen to some fucking Shakespeare or some shit. Thou shalt not judge, because thou hast fucked up before too. When you see yourself thinking someone's a real asshole, take a moment and contemplate all the times you've done exactly what they're doing. Maybe it was a different flavor of assholeness, but it was still assholey. Check yourself. People will like you more. Most importantly, you'll like you more too. Aw. You know, and that kind of reminds me of what I started bringing up in the beginning. You know, when I was dealing with my counterpart and Javi. You know, if thou shalt not judge because thou hast fucked up before too. Like, I didn't realize what I lost until after the fact. I apologized to him. I did. In hindsight, I had called him out. He had already moved on with someone else, but I had called him up and asked if he would meet me. And he did. Respectfully, he did. And we had a conversation, and I realized that, you know, I was no longer meant to be with him, and I accepted that, but cleared it up. Because I realized I was an asshole. I didn't realize what an asshole I was being at the time. You know, like seeing the mirror and realizing that I was exuding narcissistic traits, right? Narcissistic qualities. When I was with him, I apologized for it all. I told him I was sorry, you know, that he really didn't deserve any of that. And it was never him. You know, it really was me. And I wished him the absolute best moving forward, you know. But if you think about like where this paladin is coming from, if you can imagine and put yourself back in a position of memory, right, where you were ignorant to who was around you and the role that they were playing as an angel in your life. maybe you can understand where this person came from mentally, right? One of the other cards mentioned trying to survive. Just trying to survive. And maybe you can understand that. Maybe you can understand that. Like, not necessarily being guided to people or to stay with people because you love them and are drawn and guided to stay with them because you're trying to survive and you need them to help you. I know damn right well if I look back on my relationship with my ex-counterpart, like, he was just trying to survive. I don't think he hated me. I don't think he thought I was a horrible person. I think a part of him cared about me or loved me in some which way, shape, or form, you know, whatever his definition of love is. But he was just trying to survive. He was just trying to survive life. Courage is knowing it might hurt and doing it anyway. Stupidity is the same. That's why life's hard. How true is that? Courage is knowing it might hurt and doing it anyway. Stupidity is the same. And that's why life's hard. What is the difference between courage and stupidity in your life? A big part of adulting is not crossing the line where your rebelliousness turns into recklessness. The people who ride this line most gracefully usually have a clear eye on their values and a good friend or two who will tell them when they're being a dumbass. If you can't decide if you're being brave or stupid, call a friend. Hint, don't call a dumbass friend, though. Don't call a dumbass friend, though. You know, you might need to get a hold of the third person, right? If you're the paladin, you might need to get a hold of the person. I think they might, at the very least, still treat you like a friend. At the very least, I believe the energy of that third person, that wanderer energy, I think at the very least, no matter what the history is, they would still respectfully talk to you and treat you like a friend. And then we got fuck what they think. Put this card in your pocket and use it as your mantra today, all day, and tomorrow too while you're at it. Fuck what they think. Fuck what they think. Fuck what they think. All together now. Fuck what they think. Let freedom ring. Fuck what they think for the win. Fuck what they think for the win. For the win. Yeah, this was a real serious read. It really was. Bye, Lynn. For real. Whatever you decide to do, regardless of who you are, the paladin, the person that's beating the shit out of the paladin, or the wanderer who fucking knew it was going to happen, no matter which energy you are, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about what you choose. If you choose to stay as the paladin and take that beating until the end of your day, becoming a shell of a person, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. If that's the best path for you and that's what you choose every single time, then that is the path for you. Fuck what anybody thinks, including the third person. Including anybody else who would judge you and tell you you're getting your ass beat by this second person. Like, if you feel that that's where you need to be and that's your double down and that's your conviction and you will not for any reason give up on that, then bless your heart. Then bless your heart. Fuck what everybody thinks. That's where you're called to be, so be it. If you're the second person and you're wrecking fucking havoc in the first person's life, taking advantage of them through the roof, and people are talking shit about you behind your back, the third person out here knows you're fucking toxic, and you're like, well, fuck what they think. You're in survival mode too, right? That's how you and the first person connected. That's your common energy ground, both trying to survive. Fuck what anybody thinks. You're in your healing too. Fuck what anybody thinks. You're just trying to fucking survive. And if you're the third person, they can call you crazy. They can call you a witch. They can call you whatever they want to call you. Fuck what they think. Fuck what they think. You're on another level. You're on another level. I do not doubt that the third person doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. All right. With that, guys, I'm going to wrap this up for Scorp, and I'm going to clear the table, and we're going to go live again. I'm going to spin the wheel again. All right. I'll see you guys again in just a bit.